So, Argentina is shopping for a new rifle for its armed forces, and it's considering the Israeli Arad 7. Well, that's kind of an issue. Guys, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and as I always say, if you want to learn more about all of these things, especially for survival, self-defense, I strongly recommend Street Survival Skills, as well as Surviving the Economic Collapse. In both of these books, I do address the topic of self-defense and some of the tools you may want to consider, maybe more so the practical aspect of that in Street Survival Skills, which you definitely should get, especially if you're looking to get some of that instruction that you learn in proper defensive shooting classes, the kind of classes I've taken over the years in different countries, and it's usually the same basics that are taught, and those are the ones I explain there too. But one of the more important pieces of advice is keep it simple. You don't have to make things complicated. Usually when you're looking about fires, it's not all that difficult to see which ones have been working very well and which ones have not, or which ones are maybe something you don't even need to look at twice. When it comes to buying, for example, a pistol, yes, get a Glock. Everyone gets a Glock. Oh, but the United States went with a SIG. Yeah, that's called lobbying, and that's not good for you. In fact, even in the United States, even in the U.S. military, those that can and have a Glock, they're not going to be leaving behind their Glocks for a fucking P320. They're going to stick to their Glocks. And the same goes for the French armed forces, for the British armed forces, for pretty much any country that has the budget and the possibility of getting the Glock. They usually go with the Glock. It is a pretty obvious choice. Now, when it comes to rifles, it's going to be some variation of AR-15 or something homegrown, like a SIG 550, something very cool like that. But yeah, I would say that an AR is not a bad idea, but it's a bad idea to buy what is this? A licensed AR-15 made by this Israeli IWE company? Why? Have you heard of it? IWE? Well, yeah, they make the Desert Eagle, right? Well, the Desert Eagle works great in movies and video games. Not so much for armed forces. Who the hell uses a Desert Eagle? Well, the Jericho, you may be thinking. Well, the Jericho is kind of crappy. Oh, it's super great. No, it's not. Who has a Jericho? Do you carry a Jericho? Yes, I do, every single day. Well, congratulations, but no armed force other than Israelis go with something like that. You are looking at the Glocks, the Berettas, the HKs of the world. Those are top brands. If you're buying rifles from HK, yeah, I'm not going to be the one arguing against it. You're going to be buying HK pistols. Okay, yeah, I'm sure whatever model you went with, you're gonna be just fine. It's a fucking HK. It is top of the line, tier 1 manufacturer. They don't screw things up in general. I would still look at it. I will still consider it. Yeah, well, it's an HK USP. Well, that's a classic, but hell, that's a reliable gun. Yeah, you're not gonna be poorly armed with your soldiers carrying around an HK USP, right? This has a decocker. Well, yeah, that's fine. Do I think that a Glock would be even better? Yeah, sure. I would go with Glock instead. But if you're going with HK, you're not gonna get any crap from me. It's still an HK. Now, a fucking IWE, a Rad 7, no. And here they are looking at buying this, having it licensed made in Argentina. Why the hell would you ever do that? It's a fucking AR. You don't have to buy license from anyone. You can do your own AR rifle all day long. You don't owe anyone shit. You can make your own. In fact, I would look into having Argentine-made AR with a piston, which is what makes the most sense these days. And if you want to have the heavy version in 308, sure, go with that. Keep in mind, Argentina does have still does have a ton of FALs. The FAL rifle, which is still the rifle of the Argentine Armed Forces, which is something that they're looking to upgrade, which, especially these days, given that US is going with the Spear, maybe sticking with the FAL is not all of that bad an idea. Now, yeah, sure, you want to have a lighter platform, so I'm not complaining about the AR. Hell, I have one over there. That AR over there, yes. That M4, 14.5-inch barrel Colt. Colt is a good brand. IWE, Arad 5 and 7, not so much. So if you're going to buy ARs and you're buying them from Colt, from HK, Daniel Defense, yeah, sure. Okay, I'm not having a problem with that. I think it's still better to make your own, homegrown, homemade, because of national security reasons and all of the obvious, right? But you don't have to pay anyone to make these things yourself. I would even argue that instead of going with the ARAD 7 308, go with a 5.56 AR made in Argentina. Still use the FALs that you already have a ton of, and ammunition, and parts, and the guns, and people know how to use it. It is your damn rifle. It's been that for a long time. So stick with your FALs for designated shooters. Have the lighter AR for the rest, and that's it. You don't have to buy the Arad 7 or 5 from Israel. Now, the current administration having good relationships with Israel, that's all fine and good. Go for fucking lunch. Go to Burger King. Have a soda. Have a sleepover with fucking whoever that is that you're having good terms with. But don't use the money of the people for this sort of thing. This makes no sense whatsoever. Why the hell would you buy a license for an AR rifle? That makes no sense. But hey, that's just my take. Let me know what you think there in the comments below. See you next time.